Yo, what it do, good people? Welcome back to the Daniel Diagnosis. I am your host, Keith Daniel. We got another fantastic show lined up for you today. You know what we doing. We getting back into that Rod Hayes bag. This time, he talking about the timeline. He breaking it down from what happened to put us into this situation as a people and what's going on now. And he's bringing it all the way up to speed. I think it's going to be a fantastic show. I hadn't really dived into this video, so I'm going to be reacting and listening to this video with you all for the first time. All right. With that being said, we're going to get right into it. However, I got a song I want y'all to hear. You know what I'm talking about? I got a song I want y'all to hear. The title of the song is Big Mama's House. If you've been listening to Rod Hayes, if you pay attention to his lectures or whatnot, you know he's real big on Big Mama. So I thought it would be the prime opportunity for me to present this song to the people, especially on my platform, because again, this is my platform. I just want to put it out there, see what y'all think about the song or whatnot. I like it. I think you're going to like it, and I think it's right in tune with what we're talking about on these videos. So with that being said, man, we're going to get into the song. After the song, we'll get right into Rod Hayes. So see you on the flip side.
This is a Struggle Man exclusive. Shout out to all the mamas and the mamas' mamas. Yeah, the baby mamas too. Let me tell y'all what it's about. You need a place to stay, sleep on the couch. Cause this is Big Mama house. You look hungry, put some food in your mouth. And if you violate, we kicking you out. Cause this is Big Mama house. And when she leave her house, she gon' tell you she won't leave the same way she left it. Big Mama house. And if it ain't in order when she get back, then everybody getting dealt with. Big Mama house. I wanna thank you for bringing me in, mama. Look what you did, mama. Shout out to Big Mama. I wanna say I'm really sorry for the kid drama. The kids grow up to be goats, now I'm Big Mama. We went astray, Kill Bill didn't kill Amma. She came back for a kid, so we feel calmer. And show compassion for the ones that still honor. Black Madonna, the one and only Big Mama. Think about your Big Mama when you messing up. She gon' take you, child, you know better. Give thanks to your Big Mama, give it up to your elders and your ancestors. Think about your Big Mama when you messing up. She gon' take you, child, you know better. Give thanks to your Big Mama, give it up to your elders and your ancestors. My Big Mama name is Lenore, that means light. My mama name is Marilyn, that means she gon' fight. And my name is Keith, the meaning of that is earth. Like I can't bite, I guess for what it's worth. No guessing, that's what it is. My middle name's Darnell, that means the hidden place. My last name Daniel. Daniel, that means God is my judge, so I shall pass no judgment on no one but myself. So I'm a earth-born God from the order of life. The hidden one who gon' come when judgment is nigh. But near, the war is won, there's nothing to fear. You being lied to, folk, things ain't what they appear. But let me go, let me hang up this phone. I gotta get the house in order, cause my Big Mama home. I said I gotta go, dog, let me hang up the phone. I gotta get my house in order, cause my Big Mama home. Struggle. Let me tell y'all what it's about. You need a place to stay, sleep on the couch. Cause this is Big Mama house. You look hungry, put some food in your mouth. And if you violate, we kicking you out. Cause this is Big Mama house. And when she leave her house, she gon' tell you she won't leave the same way she left it. Big Mama house. And if it ain't in order when she get back, then everybody getting dealt with. Big Mama house. Think about your Big Mama when you messing up. She gon' take you, child, you know better. Give thanks to your Big Mama, give it up to your elders and your ancestors. Think about your Big Mama when you messing up. She gon' take your child, you know better. Give thanks to your Big Mama, give it up to your elders and your ancestors.
Yeah. Shouts out to 808 Rico. He's on production with this beat. It's your boy Keith Daniel, aka We All Struggle. Why do I name myself We All Struggle? Because we all struggle with something. Go on and roll up. Go on and pull up. Get yourself kicked back. Get comfortable. We going down through there with Rod Hayes, baby. Yeah. Diagnosing the timeline. This is what we do. Yeah. Yeah. Hey. Shouts out to all the big mamas, all the mamas, all the baby mamas, mamas, all that, man. You already know what it is, man. This is the Daniel Diagnosis, baby. Yeah. Hope y'all enjoyed that. I really do. I hope you enjoyed it. It is a pretty dope song, if you ask me. I think it fits the moment, it fits the time, it fits this video. And you know me personally, I'm all about sharing light and spreading love, baby. So with that being said, man, let's go on and get into the big homie, Rod. And let's see what Rod is going to unveil for us today. Let's ride.
Okay, so we finna go over a little class here today. We finna learn some shit. For the people who ain't got in yet, I'm gonna try to do some invites, and I don't know if they're gonna let me, but I'm gonna do as many as they let me. I'm gonna take my time and do these, and we're gonna start with the timeline. Y'all gotta get a couple of things clear in y'all head about what they doing and how this game is being played or been played. The gig is up, right? So we ain't Africans, but they tell us we from Africa, right? We was already here, but they tell us they brought us here. They don't think that we know who we is and where we came from. They don't think that we recognize the real on the land, right? So I'm just gonna go, we finna do a little history lesson according to the narrative they gave us, and then I'm gonna point out some key points in the narrative that's gonna make everybody be like, what the fuck did they just do to us? Right? So we know that on this land, they call this God's country, right? Why?
Remember that. God's country. You remember it's a famous country singer by the name of Blake Shelton that made a song called God's Country. And I love that song to death. I ain't gonna lie, for some reason when he made that song resonated with me. I promise you. But just remember that now. If you haven't heard the song, Google the song and listen to it. One of the hardest country songs I've never damn heard, being honest with you. But I digress. Let's continue.
Why do they call this God's country? Now hold that thought fixed in your mind for a minute. The Masonic lodges have members that's put out hundreds of books about the secret destiny of the United States, according to divine providence, or what they call God's law. Now, we finna dig up some dirt. Now, we gonna go over a little history lesson. This is the narrative they want us to stay on the timeline of. So around 7 AD, some guy was born, and he lived 33 years, and they killed him. They named him Jesus. But J wasn't no J in the letters at the time. In the Hebrew, the Nicene Creed. Look that shit up. Now, this is in the 300s. The Etruscans is taking over, they establishing Rome in Europe. Once Rome is established, Europe go into what they call the Dark Ages. Now remember, they said that the Moors civilized Europe. They taught them art, science, music. They taught them philosophy, religion. They penned Latin as a language. Greek was penned by Egyptian priests. Latin was penned by Etruscan Moorish priests. Understand the difference. Okay, now, they got a scholarly language now in 725 or the 700s in the AD period. So we're talking 400 years of Catholic Church domination before they can get enough stronghold in Europe to bring them in mass. So the history books tell us the Moors, the Etruscans, went into Europe in the Dark Ages around 700, and they occupied Europe all the way up until 1611 when their final stronghold over Europe was broken. This is the story. This is the history they gave us. Now, in this story that they telling us, a couple of things is happening over this from the 700s to the 1600s. So we're talking almost 1,000 years, 900 and some years of occupation by the Moors, right? Why in the fuck did they get kicked out of Europe if they were civilizing these people? And where in the fuck did they go? And why did they go there? Right? Nobody not asking none of them questions. They just following the narrative that they gave us. Okay, so we're going to follow the narrative. In 1611, they finally got the stronghold broke. And they kicked them all out. Right? Why are they kicking these people out of Europe? What are they doing over there after you get done civilizing somebody? Now they so civilized, how did they kick them out?
That's a very good question. Like, so, and you can't argue that. That is history. So if these people civilized the whole country, a continent, however you want to put it, why in the hell did they get kicked out? Now I know where he's going with this, but I want you to really ask yourself this question. Like if somebody came to your house and taught you how to actually live because you were living barbaric or some shit like that, what I mean, you would think that you would be entitled to show these people appreciation, right? But what if they start doing shit that was so heinous to the degree of you didn't even want them in your newly found civilization? Huh? Think about that. That's the question. That's what I wanted to say. I digress. Let Rod build.
Right. Ask the question. How did they get the Moors kicked out of Europe? Spanish motherfucking Inquisition, the motherfucking, all of the rebellions to the crown in Europe caused them to put in what they call a fictitious royal family, a cat's paw, a figurehead, a face, a front. Where did these motherfuckers go? All of them didn't leave Europe. Many of them end up going into seclusion, right? In the Depression Mountains with all of the motherfucking gold. What the fuck is Depression Mountains? If you go back, there was an empire that was called Prussia in the north of Europe. The Prussian Empire is where you get your Khazarians, mulattoes, Moorish, European hybrid children from. Right? Now, you got to understand what's taking place all over the world at the time. At this time, Rome Now, in this story that they telling us, a couple of things is happening over this from the 700s to the 1600s. So we're talking almost 1,000 years, 900 and some years of occupation by the Moors, right? Why in the fuck did they get kicked out of Europe if they were civilizing these people? And where in the fuck did they go? And why did they go there? Right? Nobody not asking none of them questions. They just following the narrative that they gave us. Okay, so we're going to follow the narrative. In 1611, they finally got the stronghold broke. And they kicked them all out. right? Why are they kicking these people out of Europe? What are they doing over there after you get done civilizing somebody? Now they so civilized, how did they kick them out? Right? Ask the question. How did they get the Moors kicked out of Europe? Spanish motherfucking Inquisition, the motherfucking, all of the rebellions to the crown in Europe caused them to put in what they call a fictitious royal family, a cat's paw, a figurehead, a face, a front. Where did these motherfuckers go? All of them didn't leave Europe. Many of them end up going into seclusion, right? In the Depression Mountains with all of the motherfucking gold. What the fuck is Depression Mountains? If you go back, there was an empire that was called Prussia in the north of Europe. The Prussian Empire is where you get your Khazarians, mulattoes, Moorish, European hybrid children from. Right? Now, you got to understand what's taking place all over the world at the time. At this time, Rome is fighting Huns, Rome is fighting Mongolians, and Rome is still fighting off the Babylonian empires. Like 36 motherfuckers. So now all this shit going on, they capturing POWs in warfare. From the Huns, from the Mongolians, and from the Hindus of Hindustan that wasn't India yet. Now, in the middle of this, in 1492, some motherfucker named Christopher Columbus supposed to discover America. I'm gonna let y'all marinate on that. Some European in 1492 named Christopher Columbus supposed to discover America. It's a problem with that. I'm just trying to let that sink in. In 1492, the Spanish crown sent somebody named Christopher Columbus to find an alternate trade route to Hindustan that wasn't called India yet. That sink in. Because they tell us in the history books, in the textbooks in the school, that when Christopher Columbus came, he was looking for an alternate trade route and he got lost and thought he was in India. That don't make no sense. It doesn't make sense.
Facts. It don't make sense. I've been saying that, like, man, how you gonna think you going to a certain place and then you end up somewhere? Like, come on, man, the whole story didn't make sense. You see what I'm saying? That's why they say, well, that's why he called the people here when he got here Indians, because he thought he was in India. Nah, motherfucker knew exactly where he was going, dog. Point blank, period. They knew. But the history that they give us, that's their version of history. You feel me? But let's continue.
It makes zero amount of sense. First of all, Pietro del Negro is a Moorish navigator. And the navigators can tell you where you at in the middle of the ocean by the position of the stars without seeing no land. But they're telling us Columbus got lost. Not only are they telling us he got lost, they telling us that when he finally found land, he just struck up on some land. We know it today as Hispaniola was what they called it. When he landed there, he named it Hispaniola. Today is Dominica, Haiti. Okay. So now, Columbus got lost, is what they telling us, and he thought he was in India. how is this possible when India is not India yet?
How, Sway? India wasn't India. You just heard him say that India was Hindustan at that point. India wasn't called India at that point. So why did they even use the word India? And if India wasn't even a place that was called India at that point, how in the hell did you get over here and call the people that you run into Indians? Telling you the shit just don't be making no sense sometimes, y'all.
This in your textbook, in your school, that they teaching your children is bullshit. Columbus got lost. He got lost. And in the course of him getting lost, he thought he was in India and called the people Indians. But the problem is, India wasn't India yet. Can anybody see what I'm saying here? Columbus got lost, and he said he was in India, but India wasn't called India yet. What the fuck is these people talking about? This the story they gave us now. This the narrative. Now, he said when he got here, he met some copper-colored people. Now, that sink in. In his diaries, because they will print that shit out. They got the book. They got all of his log from when well, most of it is in there, but some of the shit they wanted to keep secret, they left it out. He thought he was in India, but India wasn't named India yet. But we were known as Indinka. We was known as Inca. But we weren't known as no India. They called us Indico, which became known as Indigo, as we refer to the children now as Indigo children. But it wasn't no fucking India. Where this nigga think he going? Are y'all not catching that part? Okay, let's go on with the narrative. So once he got over here, he went back to Europe and he told Ferdinand and Isabella he discovered a new world. Okay, I got a person. Somebody want to come in. I'm gonna let him in and see what we got going on here.
Let it spring off. Or get a 2-piece sauce in that cocoa bean looking shit.
You ain't all the way clear yet. Wait. You ain't all the way clear yet. You got to clear up some more. Where your camera at? Turn your camera on. See, this is the bullshit they be on social media. So I'm gonna keep on talking, right? Yeah. Yeah, they dropped her out the call. Try to log back in if you're trying to get back in. Now they telling us, this is a story they want us to believe. Now you gotta remember, they can't fool us no more because we know the story. I'm going over it with y'all right now. Pietro del Negro, in order to be a navigator, right? The navigators of the day were the most highly educated non-priest class. But many of them were also priests, right? The navigators, the ones who know how to read the stars, map the stars to what's going on Earth, right? They were the highest form of education that was not a priest. And many of them were also priests. Now, catch 22, you starting to get it. He was sent by niggas. He wasn't sent by niggas. He was brought. Pietro del Negro is the name of the nigga that brought him over here. Right? His name is, it ain't hard. They call him Peter the Black in English. In Latin and Spanish, they call him Pietro del Negro. Right?
If all the naysayers out there that thinking that Rod just pulling this out his ass, I'm sorry, y'all, he's not. Peter the Black, Pietro del Negro, is a real person that existed, that was on that boat. Go do the research. Google it right now for yourself. Google it. Use the Google machine, and you will pull that up. It might not say it in the same way that Rod's saying it, but you'll get the hint. The temperature is the same.
Hey, Peter the Little Black. Sometimes they call him Pietro del Negrito. But no matter how you cut it, he was a black motherfucking skiing motherfucker named Peter. Right? So that's not a problem. But when Columbus gets back to Europe, he reported to Isabella and Ferdinand, I discovered a whole new world. This is the beginning, right here, the beginning of the New World Order. Because watch what happened. Immediately upon returning and telling Isabella and Ferdinand of their discovery of the so-called New World, Isabella and Ferdinand told him, don't tell nobody until we get some flags all up and down that motherfucker. Right? But the word got out. When the word got out, something happened. Right? Something happened when the word got out. Y'all remember the history, what they told us? Oh, don't worry about it. We got this shit covered. So once they got over there and they start spreading the word about the New World, that Columbus and the nigga Peter the Negro, they discovered the New World. Now, first of all, let me start right here. Let me tell you. So the history says that Christopher Colombo, or his name was Cristobal Colombo, was a, what you call that? Sephardic Jew. Now, this became disturbing to me because we got three main classes of Jew in modern era. We got Ashkenazi, we got Sephardi, and we got Khazarian. And not one of these motherfuckers, not one, Ashkenazi, Sephardi, or Khazarian is one of the 12 children or tribes of Israel. Go look it up. Who the fuck is these motherfuckers? I'm not really.
Now that's deep. I did not know that. I'm a well-studied person, but I'm smart enough to know that I don't know nothing. You see what I'm saying? So I learn something new every day. And I hadn't just thought to make the correlation between those groups and the 12 tribes or whatnot. So when he say that's interesting right there. That's something that I'm gonna have to go research myself and just dive in a little bit more. It just was an interesting point. But let's move.
Already gave y'all the spoiler on the Khazarians. Right? Now they call the Ashkenazi and the Sephardi are known as the Spanish Jew and the French Jew in modern colloquial terminology. Both of them are Latin subcultures. French is a subculture language of Latin. Latin is the parent language of French. Spanish, Italian, and Dutch, and a couple more. Latin is the parent language. So the French, the Italians, and the Spaniards are connected by linguistics that was written by Etruscan Moors. All right, now that y'all get this part, when they all start coming over here, who came first? Who came first in mass? They were called conquistadors. Break the word down and translate it. Conquest, Tudor. The Tudor royal family. Look them up. Google who are the Tudors.
Damn, bro. Drop one in, boy. Conquistadors, Conquest, Tudors. The Tudors, that's a bad English family. Now he gonna go down. I just say English because they from over there in that Europe area. But that family is I think they made a Netflix series on that family or whatnot. And that family has deep history into all this what Rod is breaking down. And then the word conquest in front of it, it makes it simple. Like they was on the conquest for the Tudors. Damn.
Tudor. It's an entire royal family. I see you. I see you, Simone. So they are these royal families, Tudors, right? These are a bigger family, an older family than what you call your Merovingians. Your Merovingians is a subset under the Tudors. All royal families from the gentry came by way of Tudors in Europe.
The Merovingian family, that's another very, very important family to research. They got their hands deep in a whole lot, or had their hands deep in a whole lot back in the gap. You got to understand, man, that what we going through is not nothing new. Like, this is one big, long plot, plan. Like, this is how the system works. You see what I'm saying? This is what been going on. However, we just getting to a point now to where you can't continue to do the same thing forever. Like, if you work on anything, or if you have anything, or if you are part of anything, or if you just living, period, you know you cannot continue to do the same thing, or you're gonna wear the machine out, you're gonna wear yourself out, you're gonna wear the jeans out, you're gonna wear the shoes out. Like, you got to change things up periodically. You see what I'm saying? Some people get new furniture every year. Some people get a new car every year. That's their way of resetting. That's their way of finding a new balance. Excuse me. However, you know, every cycle has this time in which truth has to come to light. Whatever's done in the dark will come to light. You see what I'm saying? Like, veils have to be lifted. Because if you keep a people in the blind for forever, I don't care what people it is, bad things are gonna happen. You see what I'm saying? And especially if you're keeping a people that is not designed to be down like that in a situation to where, you know, it can be detrimental for the entire environment of people and other peoples and things of that nature. Yeah, we gotta, you have to recognize it. Again, I will say it again, you can't heal what you don't reveal. You have to diagnose a problem in order to find a solution. But I digress.
So, the royal families became fractured when they got kicked out of Europe. Where the motherfuckers go? Okay, so now, what happened when they got over here? We know they came over here. So they tried to masquerade as the people of the land. Their philosophy and their thinking is this. If we can keep these people from ever realizing who they are and their blood ties to the land, we can just say we them. And we can say they came from somewhere else. And if we tell them they came from somewhere else long enough, they bound to believe it. So who's writing this story? Who's telling this motherfucking narrative for us to see it as if we came on a ship? Columbus came on a ship, right? The Mayflower, them was ships. But I can't find no slave ship. I ain't the only one been looking. Malachi York was looking for a slave ship. He couldn't find one either.
Bruh, I be saying the same thing, man. Like, human beings are a collector. We are collector of things. Like, we're going to hold on to certain artifacts, certain fossils, certain instruments and things of that nature that we want to look back on and say, this is how we got here. This is part of our history. And something so significant as the slave trade, you mean to tell me we ain't got nothing? Like no ships? Not even a piece of one. We ain't got no bark off of one. Like, man, it ain't no, we don't have the sail post on there. Like, bro, we ain't got the starboard bow. Like, we ain't got none of that. Nothing. That's kind of suspect to me. But
Dane Calloway been looking for a slave ship. He can't find one. Nation of Islam been looking for a slave ship, and they can't find one. But we can find immigrant ships. We can find immigrant ships from Europe that also stopped in Africa because it's in their log. I didn't make the shit up. It's in their log. They wrote that shit. So we know they pathological liars. So do we believe them or do we don't? They wrote that we came on ships. My mama told me we ain't come on no fucking ships. She don't know what them people talking about. Well, who is these motherfuckers that came on the ship? Those are what you call your black people, BLAQ. It's a legal terminology and a legal classification of a subset of a group of people. And it ain't got nothing to do with their skin color. Right? They the same motherfuckers kicked these motherfuckers out of Europe. So if they kicked them out of Europe, why are they coming over here to the great melting pot? Right? And what's this one drop of blood doctrine? Right? You own it, Shatoya, Moors. But it's two kinds of Moors. Because the legalese was used to confuse the issue at hand. What the fuck you talking about, Rod? The legalese was used to confuse the issue. Okay. So in our culture and how we have developed in these here so-called United States of America, the legalese is the language lawyers talk. Medicalese is the language doctors talk. Colloquial language is the language commoners talk. And then you have what you call political jargon, which is the gentry. These four classifications of royal hierarchy. When you know the medicalese, the legalese, the gentralese, and the colloquial language, they can't trick you no more. Trickery out the door. Right? So now we got these motherfuckers telling us we ain't from here. They contracted with what we call Dawes Roll Indians. If your family traced back to the Dawes Roll, that means either two things. Either your family was inserted to steal a birthright, or your family was injected to remove a birthright.
Damn, boy. I hope y'all picking up what he putting down, man. I really hoping, I'm hoping, I'm praying y'all picking up what he putting down, man. Like, these are some jewels. Just straight up. These are some real life jewels, man. Like, those type of eases, you know what I mean? I know what he's talking about when he's talking about all these different languages, but it's languages. That's the thing about the English language or any language. It's always going to be languages inside of languages. You know what I mean? So if you know what certain terms mean on a legal standpoint, you know what certain terms mean on medical, you know certain terms mean when you out here in the streets or in the gentry. Like, at that point, I think that's when you're at your most dangerous. Because you can't be beat. You see what I'm saying? That's why education is key. You know, people be like, you don't need to, oh man, education is overrated. They ain't teaching us nothing. Man, I agree to a degree that they ain't teaching nothing. But what we call nothing is what is contrasting. Because the nothing that you might think is nothing, I still think is something. That's why I say education is key. Because you got to learn the rules of the game if you're going to play it. And the only way you're going to learn the rules is to educate yourself on the rules. See, they teach you the rules in school. They just don't teach you the history. They don't teach you how we got here, really and truthfully. They just teach you how to play the game and to somewhat be subservient to the system and be a nice, well-grounded citizen, in which you should be. However, you still can pursue whatever dream you want to. You know, I don't think it's the law of man to a degree to say it has its say-so into who does what, as long as it ain't detrimental to the whole, if that makes sense. That's right.
The Dawes Roll Indians were the ones who were actually Mongolian, Han, and Hindustan or Hindus that was amalgamated and brought over here as the servant class of the Moors. You have to go back to the treaties now. What treaties? Now, I ain't talking about no North American treaties. I'm talking about how did they get Kublai Khan to know that they was at peace? They trading of slaves was part of the peace arrangement, right? The trading of slaves was part of the arrangement in order to establish a peace. You would trade slaves, women, you would trade wealth, you would marry you would marry the son of the king to the son of the emperor to the daughter of the emperor in order to tie the royal families together for political purposes.
Now, all my Game of Thrones fans, you know exactly what he's talking about. Because I promise you, man, I wasn't trying to really watch the Game of Thrones, but when I started watching it, I had to binge watch like all 8 seasons. And when I tell you that's one of the best shows ever put together, because it gives you a true understanding on what it was really like back then. Like, straight up, that's just in my opinion anyway. If you haven't checked it out, I ain't trying to really give him no promo, but just for historical and educational purposes, go check it out. Let's move.
Are y'all listening to this shit? Okay, now, when they came over here, they came with slaves. They called them indentures. Look this shit up. They had also went to war with Ireland and Scotland. right? So they had slaves from Ireland, Scotland, Mongolian slaves, Hun slaves, and Hindu slaves. They bring all these motherfuckers over here with them. Where did they go? They used them to masquerade as us, to make us think we somebody other than who we are.
Now that's gangster. And you know, again, entertaining the thought. That makes so much motherfucking sense, man. That makes so much sense. Really. I can't even, like, I'm speechless after that. It makes so much sense. I'm telling you. Like, just do your research. You breaking it down. And it would explain a whole lot. Like, why are we still in the position that we're in as a people? And why is it always us looking at other races and things of that nature to be what is keeping us down, not downfall? Come on, man. We all know. Let's keep it a buck. If we want to break it down to individual problems, what we always tell each other: look at the man in the mirror. Problem is with you. So if we look at that as, let's say, a race of people, where does the problem really lie? It lies with us, within us. Like, straight up. That's why I say it makes so much sense. Let's go.
Right? So they took the contract and wrote treaties and agreements with Dawes Road Indians that they brought over here with them, with no right and no ties to the land. Right? They not smarter than us. They start killing off our elders, but on the way out, our elders would initiate a Dawes Road Indian in order to preserve a particular piece of the history so that one of us niggas can put this shit back together. So the Dawes Road Indians been ceremonially replaying our history because they don't like the motherfuckers that brought them over here. They ain't friends. They never was friends. And they thought that their slave was going to remain mentally in bondage. But we don't play that shit over here. We don't play that shit over here. It's just like right now. Social media. I'm watching the same people talking about the same shit I'm talking about, get the same treatment to shut us the fuck up. I can name them. Right? They don't want, how you say his name? Because I don't want to say it wrong. Kalai Amin Ra. They don't want him telling you, you ain't black. You ain't black. If black means you came from Africa, you ain't black. We was already here. Now, since they came over here and brought some Africans with them as well, we might have some African mixed with us, but our beef ain't with them motherfuckers. Because if you look in the conditions, they just as bad or worse off than us. So we can't be mad at them. It ain't their fault they didn't do this shit because they got it done to them. So they had a whole scramble for Africa to divide Africa up after they got done dividing us up. Right? Who did it? Who did what? Lewis and Clark Expedition, Louisiana Purchase is where the great motherfucking switch take place. The French bailing out because the gig is up. The English is stronghold in the what we call New England territory.
Man, listen. He showed up. He talking some real shit now. See, that Louisiana Purchase, a lot of people don't know what went on at that point. See, Louisiana, it wasn't just the boot All right, that boot-shaped state that we call Louisiana. No, Louisiana was from the boot and everything west, all the way out to California. And it was owned by the French. It was owned by the French. The French owned that land. What happened was Napoleon at that time, he was going down to the Caribbean, to the islands, to Haiti and all that. And he and the Haitians kicked his motherfucking ass so bad to where he had to go back and send for more reinforcements. He did it a few times and it depleted the pocket, the money that the French had. So the French sold the Louisiana territory for pennies on the dollar. And that's how it ended up being Britain's and then ours. But let's continue.
Which was northeastern United States, which is the lower part of the country, not the upper. We were southern oriented. South is up, north is down. As soon as you look at the map upside down and you ask yourself, why would they tell me that the map was the other way around? Your brain start reorganizing the information on its own. On its own. Yeah, I seen what they did to Rashad Jamal. Cut his line. I was watching it. I want to tell y'all this before I forget. I was watching Collide, and everybody was thinking that the optics on his phone was fucking up because his dreads started sparkling like they had glitter in them, right? I got an old video. If you go back, you can look this shit up, and I'm not making this shit up. I said, as soon as these niggas start waking up, they dreads gonna start doing shit. They gonna be able to shoot fireballs of electricity out of their goddamn dreads. The nigga almost came all the way online. I'm watching the video.
Rod Hayes and goddamn Kalai was finna go Super Saiyan on their ass. Like, hold up, wait. I ain't saying it ain't possible, man. You know what I mean? But goddamn, boy, that's a straight nigga gonna start shooting goddamn electricity out of their dread. Like, bruh, that's that shit done rough. Again, boy, you gotta be able to entertain thoughts without accepting them over here. Like, that one there, like, god damn, like, nigga, that nigga finna come in the Super Saiyan mode and goddamn, Haruke.
He thinking it's the optics. And ain't the optics, nigga, that's you. Nigga, that's your God form waking up, for real waking up. His shit with the sparkling and shit. See, he from a different tribe than me. My tribe, our hair, we got the same texture hair, but mine don't come from those antennas. Mine come in the face. When mine switch, my face switch. Right? It looked like all of the lines in my face will smooth out. You won't see none of the lines. All of these lines smooth out.
Now, what he's saying about the face shit, that is true. I'm like that. Like, when I zone out or I spaz out, like when I'm there, like my wife would tell me, like, your eyes just, they're different. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when you come on. Like, I mean, shit, I can't describe it. I think the people out there that can relate to just turning on, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Leave that in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Leave it in the comments. Tell me what you're thinking, man. You know what I mean? Like, shit, do you find this information beneficial? You see what I'm saying? Do you agree with what Rod Hayes saying? Like, do you find some of this, as far as this information, do you find it confirming to some of the thoughts that you may have had? I mean, leave it in the comments. Let me know. But yeah, if you know what they're turning on, you know, like, you zone out. It's not a spaz out because you still in control, but it's just almost like you're in freestyle mode. You see what I'm saying? And you won't go. You know, it's like it's a transformation almost. I know what he's talking about. So that's right.
Right? And then it's like a radiance that come over the face. But dude, he was look, he was in his guy form today. Yes. So if y'all didn't catch it, he probably got it on his page. Go check it out. Y'all can see what I'm talking about. When I say the motherfuckers, like when they tell you that Medusa's hair was snakes, them was dreadlocks. She was tearing their ass up with them dreadlocks. Because each one of them is an antenna. And she can download, separate, and isolate them to the point where they can lock on the individuals and shoot lightning bolts at their ass. I ain't bullshitting. These niggas was some bad motherfuckers before they went to sleep. That's why I've been fucked up since birth trying to figure out how to tell y'all to put this shit back together. Yeah. Look, all skin folks ain't kin folks, right? We got that understood, so we don't even have to dwell on that no more. Now, we ain't looking for skin folks. We looking for kin folks now. When I did the video yesterday and I identified these people, I didn't identify them clout chasing. I'm identifying the ones that they want us to shut the fuck up. They want us to shut the fuck up. So let me tell you how they was holding us in bondage. So then I got to show you how we use our bondage chain as the solution to break free. Because niggas don't understand that shit. This is going to be the hardest thing for you to understand for it to make sense. But if you follow the narrative, it's going to make perfect sense. They told us that we came on ships, and then this was the country for these European settlers. First of all, they colonizers. The colonizers have no right to the land superior to the people of the land, period. The immigrant has no land right until he amalgamate his blood with the blood of the people on the land. Very two critical points, right? The blood and the right is required to assume the throne. The throne can only be assumed by putting the great mother back on her throne where you receive the honor. But you can't put the great mother back on her throne unless you know who are those three regional chiefs that's supposed to run the land so that they can put the mother back on the throne by calling their soldiers to arms in a moment's notice. Our people don't remember the culture, right? So they're telling it to you in hip hop. They was telling it to you in the blues. They told it to you in jazz, but you couldn't get it off the unspoken word. So they put it in spoken word. Gil Scott-Heron told you, right? The last poets. All these motherfuckers been telling you the secrets in plain sight. Winter in America. What does that mean? The Scorpion King is here in America. Because where the Scorpion King is, that's where the winter at. And the winter produces a winner, W-I-N-N-E-R. And you can only win at the conclusion of the race, crossing the finish line. That's what you call a 33-degree York right, 32 degrees Scottish right. Put them together, and then you got a 65-degree purple right. And 6 and 5 is 11. And 11 is November. But November means 9.
Let's go back to that Game of Thrones reference I just made. What was the whole premise of Game of Thrones? Your daddy said in that first season, winter is coming. And I'm going to leave it at that. Winter is coming. And it's going to be a cold one. That shit brought revolution. That shit brought the dead rising. That shit brought a whole lot of shit in the Game of Thrones. All from that one phrase, winter is coming. And when winter got there, boy, shit, it hit the motherfucking fan. So it's just like, it's crazy that the things that he's saying and the things that I can look at as far as entertainment-wise that they've given to us. And then you were able to tell the story like that. Because it ain't like to see, one rule is they got to tell it. They cannot just do things in secrecy to the point of we not having a clue on what they doing. But they can tell us a story. They just call it fiction.
The fuck just happened? We just unlocked the motherfucking key, right? So when we put all this shit together, we understand where the deception is coming from. All right, so now they have to give us the opportunity to discover the deception. Where is it written? Where is it codified? My grandmama got struck by lightning, right? That tells me to look for the lightning strike everywhere I see one. The guy who was discovered carrying the protocols of the learned elders of Zion got struck by lightning. Guy talking to me on two sides of the land. He got struck by lightning in Europe. But the document that he held was called the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, or the Protocols of the Wise Men of Zion. It had a 6-point star on it. Now, who is these motherfuckers and where is they at? Today, you know them as your Jewish Defense League and your Anti-Defamation League that uses the fist, the same black fist that we use for black power, because they look like us. But they put people that don't look like us in the leadership in the front row so you can always rely on skin color to keep you confused, dazed, and unable to identify the enemy. I see the black devil just like I see the white one, right? It ain't about what they look like. It's about how they move, what's in their heart. Once you get into their heart space with the truth, then you knock around that motherfucker, because those who ain't got no truth in them gonna rebel against the truth. They ain't got no truth in them. They gotta rebel against that shit. All right, now. So
before he go any further, excuse me, y'all, I gotta eat some. Been a long day. But before he go any further, think about what he just said. You gonna know them by the fruits they bear. It ain't about skin color. You gonna know them by the fruits they bear. If the truth ain't in them, the truth just ain't in them. You gonna feel the energy. You feel what I'm saying? Like, just think about that. And think about how many times you done been around somebody and it just fell off. Or you know you telling the truth, but you just, this person won't let you just be honest. They don't want the honesty. They want the bullshit. You see what I'm saying? And that's it causes a fucking strong debate or argument because you standing on your square because you know what you saying is to be true. It happens. You see what I'm saying? But we just don't pay attention to it because it seems like, well, we just used to it now because it always happens. But if you take a step back and just look at it, yeah, we go through that a lot. There's a lot of them out here like that.
They come over here and for some reason, shit don't go sweet because they had something that you call a civil war. It couldn't have been a civil war. First, you had an American Revolution. It couldn't have been an American Revolution because wasn't no goddamn America. Right? But they say it was the American Revolution and they rebelled against Britain. And in the process of rebelling against Britain, they established the 13 colonies, which is actually the 13 banks. 13 banks. Look up on your map, put in central banks. There's 13 central banks. They're going to identify 12 because the Federal Reserve Bank is what you call The master bank, that's Jacob himself. The other ones is the other 12 tribes, right? Yo, Levites, Midianites, Ammon, all them other motherfucking tribes of Israel. The Federal Reserve, the central bank, is the parent bank. That's why it's not counted as number 13, but it's the 13th bank. Each bank is owned privately by one of the 13 royal families of Europe that got kicked out. Go back to Billy the Kid. Why was this motherfucker robbing shit? Right? This is what they not telling you. Billy the Kid, first of all, he wasn't yellow. He wasn't pink. He wasn't tan or sandy brown. He might have been a shade lighter than me. Right? And Frank and Jesse James, all of these bank robberies was to make the family banks close. What the fuck is you talking about the family banks close? Every clan had a family bank. Big Mama was the banker. When they tell you the story, they make it look like the bank was in the town and had bars up and shit to keep it from getting robbed. That's bullshit. Big Mama had that shit in her motherfucking satchel. When you go to Big Mama house, she reach in her little satchel and give you a block of gold. It'll like this. And she had mountains of them motherfuckers because everybody kept their shit at Big Mama house. Big Mama was called the Dark Mother, right? And her color is gold. Black and gold, motherfucker. This the Vice Lord line. In the Red Lodge, which is the mother line, got a favorite daughter, number 88. Number 88 is the city queen. Unless she get one up by Empress on the 89 flip. Right? So, once you get this understood and make the shit fit, it put it all together. They've been fucking with me since the beginning. I done seen it glitch up quite a few times. But I'm just trying to hold the course until I can get this out so I can catch us up to today's unraveling of the jargon. Okay, so in the meantime, they take this these bank robberies and they use them, right? They use them for an excuse to centralize the banking system. Because Big Mama will write, my Big Mama will write your Big Mama a note. And they gotta have her mark on it, right? And if it don't got her mark on it, your Big Mama not gonna honor the note. It's IOU. This is the origin of paperbacks, greenbacks, right? Money. These IOUs that they would write to each other would also have a tribal insignia. That's right, Free Larry Hoover. They also have a tribal insignia so that Big Mama know how much money did one tribe owe to the bank. And they would always, use them to switch the money, and they would do an accounting where everybody got to account for the money in their coffers that is on the IOU. In other words, when it's time to pay up, everybody paying up. We didn't do credit. The IOU was not credit. It was the transferring of money without carrying the actual money, which gave rise to the reserve notes, right? So when they started robbing Big Mama house, because they killed off all her boys. See, that they couldn't get to Big Mama house till they started robbing all of her boys, start killing off all of her sons.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you a movie that you can watch, and you'll trip out about it because it'll reflect exactly what Rod Hayes saying right now. I think it's one of those Fast and Furious, or it's the one he in with Jason Statham. Damn, what the name is? What the name of that one is? whatever the name of the two characters is in Fast and Furious, you know, they did a movie together. And at the end of the movie, The Rock ended up having to go back home because they was on the run or something, and they was trying to fight these guys, and they had all this damn superior technology and shit like that. As far as with the cars are concerned. So, but when Rock went back home, he went back to the islands like Hawaii or whatnot. And the chief, the big dog on that island was his mama. Or big mama. You see what I'm saying? Like the brother and the boys, they were the muscle. And they were smart with everything they were doing. They were making custom cars, like they were doing their thing, but the mama was the chief over there. She was the big dog. You know what I mean? And I think that go back and look at that movie. If you have looked at that movie, just try to recollect and think about what I'm saying. But yeah, that's what it reflects that. Even in certain other movies that you look at now, especially with all the woman-related movies that we're having coming out as of late, the Woman King, the way they set Wakanda Forever up. Like, yeah, we having a common theme. So, you know, again, entertain the thought, you know what I mean? But the way Rod pitch it, you know what I mean, it's tough.
And her grandson, and her nephew, because we ain't do that shit. Big Mama house always been off. It's always been a neutral zone. I'm beefed out with a motherfucker, but if I see him at Big Mama house, we both giving each other a pass. We not bringing that shit to Big Mama house because we got to answer to every clan under Big Mama's jurisdiction. Big Mama became known as the grand matriarch of the land when she had the most matriarchs on the land under her direct command, Mother Khadijah, Nation of Islam. The culture hasn't changed. The perception of the culture has changed. Our understanding of our people's position in the culture is diminished. This tribal land, every square inch, every square inch of this shit is tribal land. They told me we got conquered, we might as well give it up. Give it up, let it go. Fuck them. They won. Go along to get along. Tap dance with these niggas from here on out. Go along to get along. I don't know how to do that shit. I am not good at go along to get along. I'm not really good at getting along. I even fall out with the people that I love when they on some bullshit. But it don't mean that I got hard feelings. It just means I got a low tolerance for bullshit. So I stay in the cave. But this shit is ridiculous. So now, all of the ones like me telling y'all what's up, let Dane Calloway know I'm here to make him think. I'm here to make him think on a higher level than what he already thinking on. I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna do that because he a bad motherfucker. But I'm gonna try. I'm supposed to make him think. I'm supposed to make him go back and look some shit up. Because he'd agree it. I'm just a motherfucking medicine man.
And I'm just the dilution station at this point. Again, he's right, man. I think that's all of our job. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what you bring to the table, the job is to make people think. You can't tell them what to think, but as long as they start thinking, and if it's in them, it's gonna come to them. If it ain't in them, it just ain't in them. But we can't, as a people, continue to be just ignorant to facts and just bowing down and going along to get along. Like, that ain't what's up, man. Like, what you here for? You see what I'm saying? Like, straight up.
So if I can get Dane to get to know where the records at, he can claim the records by public notice. He ain't got to do no paperwork. We do everything out in the open by public notice, and they do everything behind the doors in secret. That secret squirrel shit is what got us fucked up. Because We thinking that nigga with the apron on and them white gloves going in the lodge is a member, and he running that bitch with all them pale motherfuckers in there who is reaping all of the rewards for keeping his cover. They reaping all the rewards for keeping this motherfucker covered. I guess that's what they mean by the blood of Jesus. I guess. Now look, we didn't come on those ships. We never identified each other by classification of skin color, geographical location of origin, or we never identified anybody from political views. We tribesmen. We tribe up. That's what the fuck we do. And the biggest tribes on the land is responsible for the most security on the land. Y'all calling them gangbangers, right? Anybody know them brothers in Detroit, the Detroit 300, that just declared war on the gangs? I need y'all to tell them motherfuckers this. Y'all starting exactly how every gang started until you get infiltrated. Ain't no, you declaring war on tribes, nigga. We getting it off the dirt, off the fat of the land. We always have, always will. Everything they threw at us to oppress us, we used it to come up. They thought the crack was gonna kill our community. We got rich off that shit with them. Right? I'ma save it. We got rich off that shit with them. They thought that we was gonna stay drug addicts and shit. We started coming up off that shit. They put us in prison in mass. We turned that motherfucker into universities and monasteries. The ones of us that's about the right shit.
Boy, he ain't spitting nothing but facts right now, bro. I'm talking about, boy, listen, man, that's why I don't have no worries, man. It ain't nothing you can throw at me to make me think that man, listen, bro, I done been through it all, bro. And the majority of the people that, rock the way I rock, man, they done went through it all too. You see what I'm saying? Like, you get numb to that shit, like, cause you can't keep a good nigga down. Point blank period. Excuse my French, but you can't. That's just it. You see what I'm saying? Like, when it's in you, it's in you. It ain't on you, it's in you.
Yeah, the Pilgrims the ones came on ship. John Wayne kept telling you. Yes, West Side, Big Tookie. Look, Tookie was in cryostasis. They was not allowed to kill him, but they was allowed to put a soul on ice. He was a brave motherfucker, because you not freezing me. We gonna tear this bitch up, because you not freezing me. I hate being cold. And they froze this motherfucker for some years. Thawed him out. Right now, all his mental faculties ain't back together because he lost some brain cells with that shit. So he be standing there kind of looking in the daze a little bit. But he is aware. He talking about fearless. Nigga, you not freezing me. Fuck the dumb shit. We gonna shoot it out, fight it out, scrap it out, stab it out, baseball bat it out, but you not freezing me. I'm not doing that one. But I guess when he faced with the opportunity of cryostasis or 6 feet, I probably would have took cryostasis. But that's some brave shit. I don't know about doing that one. I don't think I could do it. I ain't that brave. I'm not scared of shit, but I'm not brave enough to let a motherfucker freeze me, because I don't trust the motherfucker to thaw me back out. So, yeah, just like Demolition Man.
Hey, man. Damn, he said the movie Demolition Man. Damn, that made me think. They did free Wesley Snipes in Demolition Man. Froze the shit out of his ass. But damn, man, niggas said shit, I ain't scared, but I ain't brave enough to let a motherfucker freeze me. Boy, you gotta be a motherfucking soldier to say nigga just go on and free me. Yeah, that nigga might be the demolition man. God damn.
So the codes is in the movies. It's in the books of the black nationalists, Solo Night, Solo Fire, Eldridge Cleaver. Eldridge Cleaver gave the gorilla knock off of Cleaver as a tomahawk. The tomahawk means straight up the middle, right? So when
Yeah, I'm still muted. My bad. So yeah, leave it in the comments, man. Tell me what you think. I think Rob was really on one with that one right there. I like the jargon. Um, he had a lot of points that I can entertain. You know what I mean? A lot of which I can accept. I mean, we at the end of the day, I think we all have to do our own research. You know what I mean? To get into these books and go dive into, you know, different topics so we can have a clear understanding as far as, and then you still might not have a clear understanding, but you'll have a better understanding as far as what's actually going on. You know what I mean? Because I'm a firm believer to, well, I think there is more to meet that meets the eye than just what's in our history books to high school, or you know what they might teach you in a college to where they're not really actually trying to let you know what's going on. You know what I mean? You can tell the difference in college when it really boils down to it. You see what I'm saying? Some of them are gonna make you a good productive citizen, and some of them, if you pay the right amount of money to go to these schools, you'll get some of the interworkings as far as the depth of history or psychology or philosophy. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, it's a lot of information out here. And I think that with a lot of the information that's out here, a lot of it hasn't been in the favor of the people, so we can get a clear understanding as far as what's really going on, how we can heal it now that it's being revealed. You know what I mean? Another video coming very, very soon. If you made it this far, make sure you hit the subscription button. Make sure you hit the like button, man. Let's get this information out here. Let's build. Let's think together. You know what I mean? With that being said, I am your host, Keith Daniel. This is the Daniel Diagnosis. Till we meet again, good people.